Hi, everyone. Welcome to
Hey.
another Svelte Radio episode. We have a lot today. But first, let's go to self-intros, maybe. Do you want to start as usual, Sean?
Sure. I'm Sean, also known as Six on the internet, and also I like Svelte, so all the S's. Another S, I shipped my side project. I can't come with any S's anymore. But so I was originally meant to be a 2 week long project, and then requirements just grew. So so here we are 2.5 months later, and I finally shipped. It's a career advice book, and it's called the Coding Career Handbook, and it's available on learninpublic.org. And that's me.
Should check it out. Anthony, well, what about you?
Cool. I'm Anthony. I'm the CTO of Beyonc. I'm also a Start maintainer. I don't have very many S's, but the sun is shining, which is rare for this country at the moment. Even though it's the middle of the summer, so I'll go with that. That'll be my S's, I think.
Oh, I used to live in London for 2 years, and my favorite saying was that London has good weather for 1 month out of the year, and it's June, July, this exact period.
That's pretty much that's pretty accurate. I mean, yeah, that's pretty spot on. I bought a hammock and it's rained ever since. That was about a week ago. So
That's great. Yeah. So I'm Kevin. I run Svelte School, and what have I been doing these last few weeks? I've been doing some reconnaissance for maybe building like a static site generator, another one, because why not?
Ooh.
Everyone needs to build one. So
Everyone needs to build one.
yeah, so that's fun. I've been just I haven't really done much, I think. I'm sure I have, but I don't remember it, like always. But yeah, anyway, let's get into the topics.
Cool.
Yeah. So first
first one's yours. Yeah.
Yeah. So Svelte Society Day. I'm sure you all remember the last one, and I think it was end of April, right?
It went so well. Like I still don't believe how well it went. Like I wasn't even sure we were ready for it, and then you just did it.
Yeah.
yeah, it was.
Apart from the technical difficulties, it was very nice.
No one remembers that. No one.
Yeah, damn. I should probably just edit that out, right?
It did give me a strong opinion that every online conference should be pre-recorded, because like there's things that you can do while it's playing. Like as a speaker, I can talk to audience people, and it's fine. Yeah.
It's really nice. So what we have for you today is an announcement of the next Svelte Society Day, end of summer edition, and it's going to take place at the end in the end of September, most likely. There's not a set date yet, but we'll get back to that soon, hopefully. Yeah, I mean that's it for the Svelte Society Day.
I've got it. We can call it the Summer Sunder. The word Sunder means like the end of. You know,
when is solstice? Is that like the middle of?
I think it might be the middle. Yeah, it might be the middle.
Doesn't that have something to do with the moon?
Summer showdown.
No, it's the it's the middle. It's the middle of the summer, right? Yeah, that makes sense. All right.
Yeah, we're all
cessation.
That starts with C, Anthony. I just also wanted to note that that's pretty much the end of September, early October. That is the 1 year anniversary of Svelte Society, New York, London, and Stockholm. So that's the three of us.
Yep. Yeah, that's pretty nice.
Amazing.
Will be
1 year.
Great
and weirdly
anniversary.
Only 3 meetups in.
Yeah. Damn COVID.
We'll try to have more. We've got France, we've got Brazil, we've got Russia. We need Russia, actually. We definitely need to talk to Russia.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in Singapore. We should probably do Singapore. Yeah.
Svelte Society updates. I guess we can talk about Svelte Society. I guess it's pretty much just a Discord moving to the Svelte official Svelte Discord.
Yeah. Okay. So let's recap a little bit,
Yeah.
like why why the community forked a little bit. I mean, I have my part of the story. I don't know about you guys, but basically, I'm not a maintainer. I was barely a Svelte user. My main involvement was just being a friend of Rich, and he was going on about this Svelte thing for a year, and I ignored him. And then the thing that actually got me going was that I heard that Svelte London was going to be the first Svelte meetup in the world, and I was like, that's ridiculous, we need one in New York. So I made one, even though I never should Svelte to production ever. But I mean, and yeah, so I mean, like, I branded it differently. I did not say Svelte community, I said Svelte Society, mainly for the alliteration. But also, because there already was a community, and that was the Discord. And then and that was it from my side. And then I think Kev, that you took over, you made a Discord, right?
Yeah, so I pretty much like a couple of months ago, I think I made the Discord to mostly like do website development. Unfortunately, there hasn't been very much development.
Well,
on that
also
website.
the conference, I think, was.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. So that Discord pretty much has like channels for different meetups and development of the site. But now that's moving to the official Svelte Discord, which is pretty
exciting.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I made a separate GitHub repo on my own account, because I didn't have access to the Svelte, organization, right? So that's where the community site began, as like svelte-community.netlify.com, because like I didn't have access to svelte.dev as well. So this is like, they were just like a separate ground up community thing, which is separate from the real community. And then it was just like, at some point, I think I don't know how the conversation got started. Maybe Anthony, this one, but we were just always like unsure, like, because there was no like official community leader or anything. So it just kind of ran independently.
Yeah, so I think that when I saw it, I saw the community site, I saw the society. I realized that a lot of other libraries, frameworks, whatever, have this kind of community section, and it's almost part of the official site, but it's kind of it's not like official docs. It's like recipes and tutorials and things that are a bit more in depth, and there's a conscious effort to not try and encourage every plugin in the world integrated with Svelte as an official thing, because it's almost as if we're blessing them and saying that they are there's some sort of guarantee that they'll work or whatever, and it's not the case. Mm-hmm. So there's a risk that if we become too closely combined with saying supporting every bundler under the sun, people will say, well, it doesn't work because this X bundler doesn't work or Y bundler doesn't work, and we don't have the in-house knowledge of how those work. So it's great to have a community site and keep it sort of arm's length, but not quite arm's length. And so I pitched the idea to the rest of the maintainers of making things a bit more conjoined, but obviously those were the concerns. However, now I think it's proven that the society part of things is actually quite a nice way of almost beta testing things. Like the recipes, for example, are way better than anyone imagined. The take-up's been great, and the quality of them is very high. And it's something that could almost become official. It's just that we don't want to have like the maintenance overhead of those, so it's up to the community to maintain those. And without then adding, everybody as a maintainer on Svelte, it's nice to have that sort of blessed unofficial society arm to Svelte. It's all about kind of managing expectations of people when they discover the framework and keeping things, I wouldn't say like Apple's walled garden, but almost a bit like Apple's walled garden, because you've got this kind of, a set of things that are guaranteed to work in a predictable way. Yeah. So yeah, I think anyway, I mean, the thing is, a lot of people who were very against the idea of really even pointing to Svelte Society as part of Svelte have recently come around quite a lot. You know, given who runs it. You know, you guys are very, you know, seem to be very trustworthy, and obviously I'm kind of weirdly on both sides of the fence, which is odd. But yeah, so I think it's proving itself to be a really useful resource and pretty exciting. So yeah, so the first part is merging the communities together so that people have a way of finding this stuff more easily and making it more discoverable for them.
Yeah, it's going to be nice. We've recently had a couple of support questions on the Svelte Society Discord that should really be in the Svelte Discord.
Yeah,
so it's nice. So yeah,
is your plan to shut down the Svelte Discord, the Svelte Society Discord? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
we might as well just merge it, right?
I think that's for the best. Like,
yeah,
make the community as whole as possible. If that makes sense.
I think.
Yeah, I never felt comfortable forking the community either. I didn't really intend to do that. So yeah.
I don't think it's a fork. It's more like an extension. You know, it depends on the way that you perceive this sort of stuff. And I think it feels like an extension. And you know, extensions are welcome. I think it's a great idea. But yeah, it's better for people, I think, to, you know, cognitive wise, that they have everything in one place. So.
Yeah, I so the comment I'll say about your thing with the you know the concept, basically it's like so I think about it. You know how trees, when they grow, they have rings. So Svelte's growing and it needs more rings. That's my analogy. You know, like I do have strong opinions that, like, when you grow a language, like Svelte is a language, and you grow a language, you need a lot of meta language around it. The React's core team, when they initially grew React, this is their, like, every single core team member knew how important this was, and they prioritized it. Like, they intentionally grew the meta language around the language. So when I, you know, started being interested in Svelte, I immediately saw this as like the main thing. Like, like if Svelte is the scale, it's not the code, it's the community.
That's very valid. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
for sure.
So that's been the thesis.
Yeah, makes sense.
Oh,
all right. Now we have recipe pages galore. So recently we've had a couple of. So first we had this. We had a PR doing an actual page out of the recipes repo, which was pretty unfortunate in a sense, because at the same time I was actually making the website for it, like at that very time. So if you're interested in contributing, please reach out to us first. It's easier if we all work together, and it doesn't waste time for anyone that way. But it was nice seeing someone caring about the recipes page. There was also this other recipe page, right?
Yeah, the unrelated one.
Amelia's?
Yeah, exactly.
That's the one.
Yeah. That was really cool looking site. I really like
everything she does is amazing. Just everything. So I think, yeah, she it's only got like 3 recipes or something, but they're cool, but then they also like present very well. We might just ask her to help us with our
site. Yeah. might be good.
She actually bought the domain svelte.recipes. Like, I feel like that's such an obvious thing.
Yeah, that's nice. It's a nice domain, isn't it? So just out of interest, you know, where are we with having the recipes published as a site for people to visit?
So at the moment you can visit. I think it's staging.sveltesociety.dev, and it has like a really bare bones page, and I've yet to fix the visual bugs on it, so don't expect to read the code in any good manner. It's a work in progress. But if you're interested in helping out, you can reach out to me and we can start working on that.
Nice.
Yeah.
And they can reach you on the Discord.
Yes, I'm at Kev. I don't have the elephant avatar anymore, So I realized I should probably use the same one everywhere. People were
Mm-hmm.
getting
I should probably
confused.
do the same thing.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. People. I feel like so the main thing for when we started recipes, the thesis was like this contains everything that people ask very frequently, but is not relevant for the docs because it'll make the docs too long or too bloated, right? Like this is just like practical use cases that everybody has.
Yeah.
So it really like you could probably figure it out if you read the docs enough and you were smart and you spend a lot of time, or you could just go to recipes and copy and paste. So I think that was my goal, is just copy and
I
paste.
think,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think a lot of the things people have turned into recipes have been born from actual projects that already exist. It's just the discoverability of those projects is difficult. You know, you're searching GitHub and trying to find the right thing there. So to have them in one place makes a lot of sense. Yeah, it's, you know, we're not breaking any new ground by having these recipes existing. It's more that it's nice to have a little walkthrough of why decisions were made and how they were made, how to do it yourself, where to sort of look at different alternatives as you're doing those, but also just discoverability, like the components, the components page as well. One place to search and find and compare and contrast is much better than trying to search the internet and trying to search Google for them stuff.
Yeah. And that's also actually a part of the upcoming Svelte Society website. Sadly, it's also has to be developed, of course, but at some point, as usual. Anyway, let's move on.
No,
So,
I mean it takes work, and I think so you don't have to do everything yourself, but you do need to tell people what help you need. I'm always very clear. Like, yes, if you want help, you have to tell people what you need. Otherwise, people don't really know what to help you with. And the same thing for me, true. Like with the recipes, I have to consciously say like, here we need help here. Mark this is a good first issue, and then people come in. But like if they don't feel like they're welcome to come in, then they don't know where to start.
That's very true.
Yeah.
I agree.
All right, let me get off my soapbox.
Let's talk about Suite or Svelte plus Vite.
So
that's
I don't know
right?
I don't know anything about this. You want to fill us in?
Yeah. So this is pretty much a project made by a guy that frequents the Routify Discord, and he made. They've been talking a lot about bundler stuff over there, so I guess naturally Vite ended up on the table as some sort of solution to some problem, and so this is pretty much a plugin for Vite, so you can use Svelte in Vite. And if you don't know what Vite is, it's like a no bundler project, I think, from Evan Yu of Vue. And so this pretty much just allows you to do HMR and pretty much use Vite as your development kind of environment. I tried it out. It works very well, and I encourage you to check it out. That's pretty much it.
It's interesting. I'm looking at the repository now, and there's a GIF at the top, which is, you know, it looks like a regular GIF, just sort of scrolling out, writing letter by letter, flashing colors and stuff. And just below it just says every change in that GIF is a separate hot module reload, which is just mind blowing.
Yeah,
that's fast.
Yeah,
that's really fast.
Yep.
I wonder what machine he's using. Is it a supercomputer?
He actually made a benchmark for this, and he asked some people to run it. And so I think I have a fairly like powerful machine, and I don't know why, but it runs pretty slowly on mine. Might be he's blaming Apple file system, and I have no idea because I don't know anything about that. So, but yeah, it's a cool little project. You can check it out. And it's like almost zero config as well, which is
that's
nice.
good.
I was surprised when I first tried it.
This just
Sorry.
needs a bit of Sapper support somewhere.
Yeah. All right.
Well, so I hate to be the guy, but does it support TypeScript?
God. Here we go.
I mean, if Svelte supports it, it supports all the preprocessors and stuff. So I'm sure it somehow supports it. I haven't tried.
Oh man, yeah, I'm gonna try this. That's the thing. Like I'm very excited about Dino because like everything in the Dino ecosystem supports TypeScript, so I don't have to ask. And there's no like weird config; it just works, you know. So anyway,
Yeah, I've been meaning to try Dino lately, especially for the static site generator I was talking about. But we'll see.
I'll be
All right.
honest. I've not thought about trying it.
Yeah. I
I've
mean,
not. I looked at it.
if whatever you're using works, well, I mean it's fine.
yeah.
Yeah, I've moved from typed languages to non-typed languages, and I'm quite happy with non-typed languages. It's an easier life for me. Less typing.
Yeah,
Literally.
that is true. All right, let's talk about this this book. There's a new book called Cloud Native Web Development, and it's made by a guy called Mike Nicholas, I think. It's
Oh yeah.
so it's pretty much how you build a full project using different technologies, and I think he uses Svelte and Sapper as a front-end technology with Tailwind CSS, and then he uses some cloud stuff on the back end that I haven't really taken a look at yet.
I see him quite around the Discord quite a lot, actually. I think, and on Twitter.
Yeah, it's pretty
So
active.
he's quite active. Yeah.
Is this a O'Reilly book or something like that?
I think it's self-published.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah. It's
I'm gonna look it up.
yeah. Yeah.
During the break, I was just explaining that. So I was singing during the break because Anthony walked away, and then I explained that I actually sang the theme song for Babel, and you guys are very interested in that.
Very much interested.
Yes.
I found the lyrics.
Don't you think that transpilers need theme songs? That's pretty obvious, no?
I mean, of course. Yeah. I hear it.
Yes. Now you mention it. Of course. Yes.
It's not something I've thought about, but yeah,
Well,
why not?
Why hasn't Svelte got a theme song, Kay? Well, you know.
And someone's got to
That'd be
write
very
one.
Yeah, you need to get on it. You need to get on that, Sean.
I like doing song parodies, but no, this one was not written by me. This was written by Angus Kroll from Uber. I think he works at now.
He also wrote Just.
He wrote Jest?
No, he wrote Just. There's a library called Just, which is like Lodash in little pieces. They're like no dependency Lodash. It's amazing. I use it everywhere because it obviously doesn't add to the bundle size. But I've never heard of this guy before. But now you've mentioned him, I know him.
Yeah. Well, he's the cow guy. He's an interesting. I think he's like kind of old school JavaScript. You know, like he was probably like around when like early Node days, and then I think he's kind of left the scene more or less. I mean, he still uses JavaScript. He's just not super active. But I've met him in San Francisco, and he's very nice. He still organizes a meetup and everything. He just he's checked out of JavaScript Twitter. So good for him. But he wrote this thing for fun. He wrote this parody for fun, and then I saw it. It was so good, and so I sang it, and it was Christmas. And then Henry liked it so much, he made it the intro for his talks. So when he walks on stage, that's my voice. And then for the Babel podcast, he also plays my voice. And the problem is like it's a very loud and mournful song. It's Hallelujah. It's a very sad song, but he likes it. He keeps playing it. I just think it's like the wrong mood. I don't know.
Yeah. We got to link to this somehow.
That's awesome.
just Google Babel theme song. It's there.
All right.
I mean, we can add that to the links. We'll definitely add that to the links. It's called Hallelujah in Praise of Babel.
All right. So, yeah. Next topic.
Is it Pix or Jungle.js?
I think it's
Pix is at the
Jungle.js
end.
first. Yeah.
Yeah, Pix is at the end.
Yeah.
What's
All right.
Jungle.js?
Right. So Jungle.js is something that I saw someone mention in the Svelte channel, thinking, well, that's not very relevant to Svelte. I'll have a look at that, and it turns out it is. It's a pure Svelte. Appears to be like a static site generator focused on Jamstack. So it looks pretty, you know, it's kind of appeared out of nowhere. It looks pretty established and nice, and people are using it. And I actually really want to try it. But yeah, like a really nice alternative to building Jamstack apps. The name is misleading. It is purely Svelte, which is quite amazing. Yeah. So worth checking out. Yeah, it seems like a very nice lightweight way of making static apps. I think it focuses on building static apps in a different approach to Sapper. So the Sapper approach is you build your app as regular, and then you run export, and it crawls your app and gets all the pages out. I think what Jungle.js does, from what I understand, is it kind of does it on the fly. It does it as you're building. So you're getting an incremental static build, which means it's probably more appropriate for static sites that are static but have frequent content updates. So you're building it on CI. Obviously, if you've got a blog and someone adds a blog post, edits a blog post, you would, in Sapper, you would export that whole blog and then publish that. Whereas I believe with Jungle.js, it would just do an incremental build of just whatever that change is and then publish that. So you could get a much faster turnaround time for the content.
I think,
at least from what
also,
I understand.
Yeah. I think also one of the key features is like the data fetching. So he's using a like a preprocessor to fetch data. So it feels kind of more like how you would build a site in Gatsby, probably.
Yeah, it does mention that sort of thing, actually. Yeah. It says you can use any CMS you want, like WordPress or Airtable or JSON or Git or anything you like. And it's going to use GraphQL as well, which is another thing that probably is something that Sapper doesn't really focus on. Yeah. And then it'll publish your sites to static hosts such as AWS Amplify, Surge, GitHub Pages, you name it. So yeah, that's pretty cool, actually. I really want to try it out, but I haven't got an exact use case just yet.
Yeah. All right. I think this is your topic, Sean. You recently launched a book, right?
This is me, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The website.
So
what's it built in?
Okay. Yeah. So the website's built in Svelte and MD Specs and Tailwind. What?
No, I'm just doing weird noises. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I really want a soundboard. If we have a sponsor, we can sponsor soundboards. Yeah, I want to press it. I want to like air horns, like.
That'd be cool.
Sounds so obnoxious.
Instant soundboard. So my coworker from Netlify, Rafa, he'd do this all the time in like company all hands. It's really funny. Let me just get this. No. Okay. There we go.
Oh wow.
Okay. Anyway, I won't do that too much. Anyway, so yeah, I think first time really sort of shipping anything for money for myself. Not on behalf of any company. And went with Svelte, of course. And I really liked, so something I did not appreciate about Svelte until like you really have to, iterate on a site is what I'm starting to call like the incremental upgrade workflow. So when you build the site, you design HTML and CSS in small self-contained components, right? Like, and then you just like kind of piece them all together. And then you like start to play, like once you have this static site experience up, then you start to play with things. You start to add animations, and you start to add JavaScript, like transitions. And so, for example, I use the Svelte Motion Store to do tweening, and that is a simple upgrade from like the normal Svelte site, and you just like upgrade the level of experience as you go along. And there's no change in tooling and no change in sort of mindset, no decision fatigue. And so that's what I was tweeting out. Like I realized that to do what I would do in Svelte with Reacts, like I would have to go through and decide a whole bunch of things, and they would all not fit together very well, and probably the JavaScript weight would be pretty high because they all, ship the minimum. I mean, they all ship some amount of dependency, whereas Svelte does not. Yeah, I mean that was my main sort of realization. Like I've like, I theoretically knew this, but like this was me living it. And then I think the combination, like I think some people question, like, since Svelte has scope styles, like why do we need something like Tailwind? And I think my answer to that is just try building a big component in Svelte. You have to go up and down and up and down and up and down so much. And then like I'm definitely duplicating, like I think I had font weight bold 10 times in my app. Like you're duplicating styles, right? Like and the whole point of utility styles is that you're doing it once. And every time you apply it, you know exactly where it goes. You don't have to shift anywhere. You just like go to the element and you put it there. You can even go to your, like, well, when you're in development, you can even go to your browser and just type in the class name in the browser and see it update live. And once you're happy with everything, you copy and paste the entire class from the browser into the source code, and that's it. That's your design in the browser, and you can bring it back. So I think Tailwind and Svelte kind of go well together. I think Tailwind just goes well with anything, so it's really nice. You still use Svelte for like stuff that Tailwind does not have. Tailwind doesn't cover everything, so for like super custom stuff, you use Svelte. But I think Tailwind has been a pretty big help, I think. Yeah, that's my assessment.
Yeah.
I also used Begin. Begin.com is a nice hosting provider. Technically, I work for a different hosting provider, but I think for Svelte projects, I think Begin's actually pretty good. Like they offer a serverless functionality. They offer like a nice static site hosting, but then also the serverless functionality has a data component. Like they wrap DynamoDB, so I could do things like analytics tracking. So when I launched on Hacker News, which by the way went to like number 5, so I needed some potential capacity. And obviously, and it just took all the volume, traffic really well, and I could track things like, okay, this source was from Hacker News, and they clicked on this thing, and I don't need to track anything else, But it was all custom rolled analytics, and I could tell enough for my purposes. I could do like affiliate tracking, and it was all in that same tool set within Begin. So your hosting provider should provide all these things,
That's pretty cool.
And it should be as easy as like use this function, like increment this counter. That's it. Like, there's no schema set up or anything. You're just like storing basic pieces of information. Of course, if you want to build something more complex, then yeah, use whatever dedicated database provider. But if you just need a KV store, then yeah, use Begin.
That's cool. That's good to know, because it's.
Go ahead.
I should say it's often hard to find. You can find any number of static hosting providers or even dynamic hosting providers nowadays, serverless, you name it. But the thing that's never there or is kind of an add-on for some sort of monthly fee or subscription is the key value store. And the ones that the sort of free key value stores that exist outside of that don't instill much confidence in me. They're often kind of very amateurish looking sites that might disappear tomorrow. So it's good to know, actually.
Yeah. I mean, to be clear, Amazon does this too. It's just that there's probably more config because they try to let you do more. Whereas Begin is very constrained to that use case. Like it's a big object. You stick whatever key, whatever value you want. That's it. And then they have some utility functions. One more thing I didn't mention, which I think it's killer. So they take care of cookies for you, like cookies and sessions. So normally in serverless, you don't use sessions, you use JWTs, which have other security issues. But since they write the cookie layer and session layer management for you, everything's handled. So they parse everything for you, and then by the time you get it within your service function, it's all taken care of. So you just know what this user is and does, and you can write some very simple authentication solution just comparing the user string.
Wow, it's really convenient. I think I've been tinkering with Cloudflare workers.
Their KV store probably does the same thing.
Yeah. So I'm actually hosting the staging site for Svelte Society on a Cloudflare worker. So it hosts, so it like puts everything in a KV store, like all the files, and which makes it really easy to like do, because since it's a worker that handles like all the requests, you can do authentication in the worker pretty easily. So on Svelte School, I've been tinkering with adding auth0 like on the back end rather than on the front end, and just running it in the Cloudflare worker. So it's pretty neat. It's
Nice.
$5 a month though, but it's fine.
It's $5.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, so the thing when I worked at Netlify, the thing that actually scared me off of Cloudflare Workers was they kept saying that Cloudflare Workers KV store was eventually consistent, and sure, of course, like it's a distributed thing, but I didn't know if that meant like 5 milliseconds or 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And sometimes some things you can't write for if it's like 5 minutes latency or something, you know. So now I'm a lot less concerned because like DynamoDB is like 9 milliseconds latency. So which FYI, the latency from your head to your fingertips is 9 milliseconds because electricity travels at 110 meters per second.
Wow.
I got that from John Carmack, who he worked. Like this matters because if you're working on 60 frames per second, right? Like your human interface, then you have 16 milliseconds for your input frame, and 9 of that is your arm.
Oh, right.
Interesting.
So you just cannot do that much with 16, you know. So yeah.
And now there's 144 hertz coming and 300. And I think I saw a laptop.
You're not getting that in VR. I mean, John Carmack works on VR. That's why he cares about this kind of.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right. So we have the showcase section now, right?
Yeah.
So I want to start with a thing called Pod LP, which is a podcast player for something called KaiOS, which I had never heard of, but apparently it's like a mobile OS for really, really low end devices.
Nice.
And so he built this podcast player in Svelte, and now it's on the Kai store. That doesn't mean very much to me, but I guess it's like the Play Store or the App Store. Looks really nice, and it's one of those cases where it really shows how light Svelte is, that you can actually do this.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a perfect use case for it, isn't it?
It runs on a Nokia phone.
Yeah.
That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know.
It runs on a lot of old-looking phones. That's really cool.
Yeah. But
I see. There's a whole range here. Oh, okay.
Yeah, on the site, yeah.
So I think we joke a bit about it, but I think this matters for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Being able to
absolutely, yeah.
I think where you go too far. So last year Rich was trying to push this whole thing about like if you can use less power, you like save the earth.
Oh, right.
And he in his Barcelona, that's where I hung out with him. In his Barcelona talk, he was like, he had all these images like the earth is burning and we need to use Svelte to save the earth. So I wouldn't go quite that far, but yeah, I think it's important to work on embedded devices, and I think I'm more in line with the like embedded devices are cool. We should be able to write UIs in JavaScript on them, and Svelte's perfect for that.
Let's think about this. If you can make low-end devices have a longer shelf life, like a longer life, then you're not producing new phones. Then
I understand.
Theoretically, there's a bigger impact, right? I think that's reasonable.
It's just about order of magnitude, man. That's all.
All right. So next up, we have someone launched an unofficial Svelte newsletter.
Mm.
And I think it's just like a roundup of what's happened, what's coming up, bug fixes, stuff like that.
So I think there's two newsletters now, isn't there? There's one that I've been receiving for a while.
Yeah. Does that still get published? I haven't seen it.
I think I saw it recently. Maybe I imagined it.
All right.
So I mean, Peter Cooper runs that one, I think, and he's a professional newsletterist. I imagine he knows how to do these things.
Okay.
But I mean, this is not bad. It's a good. If this is the first issue, it's pretty good.
Yep.
Yeah, they got
all, he
some
has
nice
to,
stuff in there.
all he has to do is keep it up, which is the hard part.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Okay. Svelte India, July. What is this?
So it's not actually called Svelte India, but it's Techno Guys Meetup, and it's organized by someone in India. I think it's an existing meetup in India. Not that that actually matters because everything's online these days. But the time zones and the content may be localized. It's on July 18th, and you can sign up on the link that we're going to provide here. It's a meetup.com thing, but I think it's like a Zoom call. And yeah, more Svelte meetups all around the world.
Yep.
Nice. The next one here is the Pokedex. So, I mean, this is just a Pokemon, I don't know, like an index of cards, I guess. I don't know much about Pokemon, unfortunately, but it's pretty colors. It sort of stuck out to me. It's quite nice. It's got some.
Don't know much about
nice...
Pokemon. Okay, can we circle back on this? How do you not know much about Pokemon? What's
I played Pokemon Go once. That was fun for a while, a few months. Beyond that, I mean, I don't know. It's not really had much of an appeal to me. Why would it? Sell me Pokemon.
It's got Pikachu.
Well, sure.
It's a mouse and it says Pika.
Right. I mean, I'm sold, Sean.
Yeah.
Great.
All right.
Oh no! I mean, this site looks cool. I think this is like a basic. It's like a starter project for a lot of things, and I always like seeing the different implementations. He's got some animations on this thing. I think he's got search and all that. So
I like this. What's this style they call that Apple used to use a lot, where things look real? I can't remember the name of the way they do it.
Skeuomorphic.
Skeuomorphic. That's the one. It's got that kind of. I quite like that. The kind of touch and feel is really nice.
Does this count as skeuomorphic?
I mean, it kind of does, because I'm visualizing picking up a card and kind of it turning in my hand as I pick it up, and I can see the shadow appears. Right. That kind of thing, it appeals to me because it's a really quite a nice UX. It's an easy win. It's kind of low hanging fruit for UX, but to give it that real feel is quite a nice way of doing things.
Is this like a single box shadow? Is that what's going on?
I think it looks like a box shadow. Yeah, there is a slight jerkiness when you first pick up the card. Maybe that could be improved, but yeah, when it's turning, it's got quite a nice shadow effect. It's like you've pulled the card out of the deck, and
I don't know how you animate this. Yeah, basically it just like toggles on the box shadow and then it turns. I don't know how you animate from no box shadow to box shadow. That's an interesting one. I don't know how to.
I don't know if it's transitionable. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not.
Probably not.
Maybe if there was a zoom to start with and then it twisted, that would be better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
Cool. More side projects. This one is Textmoji from Postlight. So Textmoji is how in Slack everyone has these like small little custom emojis. The problem is sometimes you want to make your own emojis, and you might have some trouble doing that. So they made this app that's custom built just to write some text. So I can type in Svelte in here, and now I have a Svelte custom emoji I can copy and paste and put on my Slack.
It's pretty
or Discord.
Nice.
It's probably worse for Discord.
So this is made in Svelte?
Yeah, it's made in Svelte. Look at the source.
Amazing.
And the guy who was on it, what's his name? I'm terrible at this. I heard him from the Changelog podcast, and he talked about it in length. So that's like a 1 hour discussion on why they picked Svelte. Postlight's a very good agency type thing. I follow Paul Ford, who's one of the partners on it, and he works there, and so I tend to pay attention to Postlight projects, and Textmoji was the latest one. They just have these like random hack days where they just hack these things together. So
that's nice.
Right. I think this is how it starts. Like people, when they're interested in things, they try it on small projects, and then they're like, okay, I like the feel of it. Let's put it on a big thing. So I try to track these things.
Yep.
All right. Then the last one for me is Svelte Society France, not France. has a new Twitter. So that's Svelte Society FR. The duo, I think it's Korean and I forget the other guy's name, K6. And they're running this. And it's all French all the time. That's all I know.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're organizing the conference. They have a date. It's on the 27th of September. I put the announcement link there if people want to share it. And they're also running a CFP until August 17th. That's all I know because I don't speak French. But
Yeah.
hopefully we can get some people for them.
I think it'll be nice. It's going to be around the same time as the Svelte Society Day, I think.
Yeah.
That's great. Build some momentum. All right. So let's see. What's next? So
we have
the Svelte announcement.
the Svelte announcement. Yeah.
What is this?
Well, who knows? So, I guess the anticipation the build-up is that, well, I mean, maybe, I don't know, who knows? There could be differently too. I guess the anticipation is a little longer than originally anticipated. Does that make any sense?
Okay.
Yeah.
So are you announcing that we're postponing the announcement and then we're going to announce again in the future?
I'm announcing that the best way to get the announcement is to watch for the announcement. Because who knows what it could be. That's all I got.
All right. Okay. Let's move on to the maintainers meet then.
Yeah. So actually, yeah, I mean, kind of where we decided this announcement thing really, but we started to start doing a video conference of all the maintainers together on as frequent a basis as allowable. Just because we've got some sort of big ticket issues. We're trying to triage a lot of the existing PRs and issues into an order where we could figure out what is the most important thing to the community, what's the biggest and most important thing for the framework, but also you have to factor in a bit of what is likely to get worked on, because obviously it's all very well saying, let's say feature X is really important, but if nobody of the maintainers has any experience of it or uses it day to day or has any desire to work on it, then it's probably not going to get that much attention. So it's trying to find a way to bring in what we can, leverage people's PRs and commits where we possibly can bring those in. And we had a list of probably like 16 items, and to be honest, we only got through a couple, maybe three, because this is a two hour meeting, just because there's so much to discuss with each of these. But the nice thing is the things we did discuss. The first one was slots. Just overall, there's a lot of open PRs and slots, a lot of open questions, documentation, bugs around how they work, undocumented ways that they work, and they probably should or shouldn't, or it should be documented or removed or fixed or whatever. So that was a big thing. So that should be some movement on that soon, and trying to get slots into some sort of final format. And then the other thing we discussed was around SAPA and what is SAPA, what does SAPA want to be, what can it be, and I think kind of the crux of that discussion was we should probably look at modularizing it. There's already a movement in that direction with the notion of pulling out the router and making a separate router project, perhaps. But is SAPA too tightly integrated? Is that the right approach? Should it be pulled apart? Should it be tightly integrated and opinionated? And that's that. We're already trying to support, say, Webpack and Rollup in SAPA. That shows that maybe we don't want it to be too strongly opinionated, but is that the case? Does it have too much crossover with other projects that maybe solve problems better than it? Let's use Routify or Jungle.js as an example. They're very specific down a certain direction. Does SAPA want to try and be the be all and end all to everything, or does it want to have a specific use case, and should it be more focused on that? So obviously endless discussion can happen on these things, but we try to make some of these things actionable so that we can start to progress through getting some things that are important to people signed off and sealed and done and dusted. So yeah, so it was a productive meeting, but we have plenty more items to discuss on that. So we'll catch up in a few more.
Yeah, that sounds great. Like, go ahead, John.
Oh, well, yeah, good. I think this has been something that I have wanted, but I wasn't able to. I mean, it's not for me to say, but I thought that Svelte governance needed to step up if companies were going to trust Svelte with their front ends. Like they need to see that there's some action going on. It's weird because none of them are paying for it, but people still have to do it. If you want this thing to take on to the next level, then the way Svelte is run has to change.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something that's difficult because obviously no one has that time resource to dedicate 100% time to it. And in fact, we probably don't want to do that, because when you start to dedicate 100% of your time to something, you lose track of what the reality is. You're completely focused in on the framework itself, and you're not focusing on real world use cases as much. So yeah, it's a tough one, but definitely there's movement in that direction, which is great.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm happy.
Sounds good.
I think then we're down to picks.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, so I can go first. If you've ever used a Mac with a third-party mouse that has side buttons, you probably know that they never work out of the box. You can't, like in Windows, for example, you can go back and forth in the browser just by touching the side buttons. So I found this small little app called Sensible Side Buttons. Has a pretty apt name. And it just enables pretty much going back and forth, for example, on websites using the side buttons, which is a very nice feature once you actually use it. So that's mine.
Does mine have that? No.
I've got one.
It was default.
Okay, hang on. Yeah, I've got one. So it's called Twitter Links. It's a Chrome extension that has not been published. So you have to git clone, and then you use it in Chrome. And so what this does for you is that any page you're linking, any page you're currently reading, you can click that Chrome extension, and then it pops up to show you all the Twitter discussion that's related to it. It just performs a search on the URL. So cool. I use this almost every day to find, like, if I'm reading something, I want to find the author, I want to credit them or give them feedback, or I want to see what other people who know more than me can say about it. So it's kind of like it's like a meta discussion layer for the web. The creator is Maxim. He's actually a designer. I only know him off of Twitter, but he seems like a pretty clued in, like, tech person. I'm meeting with him next week to just get acquainted. But like this is a cool project. It took like maybe 10 lines of code, but I use it basically every day. So that's my pick.
I guess my pick would be Foam. I'm sure everyone's already heard of it, but it's
have you used it?
I haven't used it, no, but it's something that's sort of maybe a weekend thing to look into.
Wait, what's this?
It's basically like a personal organization system for your own thoughts and your own development, but it goes inside Visual Studio Code. I believe it's based on Roam Research, which is some sort of similar product, but like very much more kind of this one's built using tools you probably already have on your machine, especially if you're a developer, but more kind of an open source approach to something quite enterprisey maybe. But yeah, it's got a lot of stars on GitHub and a lot of interest on Twitter, so I'll give it a go this weekend and see what happens.
Yeah, sounds good.
Built by Yanni, who is Finnish, so that's competition for you, Kevin. No, he's a good guy. He's very, very funny. Oh my god, he is when he wants to be. Sometimes I think lately he's been like in a not funny mode, but when he wants to be, he can be extremely funny.
Nice.
I think we're all in a non-funny mode.
I know
these last few months, right?
By the way, we just crossed the 50% mark of the year because this is a leap year.
Oh no!
Yeah, so we just crossed 50%. We're half done.
Oh,
it's downhill from here.
Oh, God. Let's
Wow.
hope it gets better, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's getting
All
better. We have regular maintainers. We're healing this nature is healing. Svelte is healing. All's good.
Yeah.
All's well.
Let's go with that.
Nice.
I like that.
Cool.
Who wrote this? This about the, are we serious about this next time?
I think
Did someone-
Oh, that's for next
Anthony.
time. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's for next time.
You want to
that's-
promise this?
Let's leave till next time. We have under 2 minutes. We're crossing the under 2 minutes mark left, so let's.
Yeah, let's wrap up. It's probably a good idea.
All right. So yeah, see you guys next time. I think this is a good discussion as always. I always enjoy this, and I think Svelte's coming along. It's coming along. It's very exciting to see.
Super
indeed.
exciting. All right. Take care, guys.
Cool.
All
Thank
right,
you.
bye everyone.
Bye.